Oh my God, I see Keisha on the line. Where you been, girl?
Busy with orders.
Oh, that's nice. I mean, we can't complain about that. I love to see that. Alexa, turn the lights to 100. Yeah, forgive me, I'm black and I don't know what. Hey, turn the lights to 100. Thank you. How's life been though, besides being busy?
Feeling, I don't know, just a lot going on, trying to get organized, trying to get ready for the school year.
Okay. So you're still going to try to run the business with the school year, right?
Say that again.
You're still doing orders, completing orders throughout the school year?
Quarters. I teach
Orders,
elementary.
orders, orders. You're still going to be completing orders throughout the school year.
Yes,
Okay. Okay.
yes. Yeah, I am. I just need to be figuring out what that's gonna look like. Like I welcome the ebbs and flows, honestly, you know.
Mhm.
So um try to get my like the goals I set for myself this summer weren't exactly didn't turn out the way I wanted to, but it's okay. Could have been worse. I got some things done. So it's just a matter of setting realistic goals.
I got you. I mean, yeah, I feel you. I set high goals for myself. I rather shoot for the, what is they shoot for this moon and those
And then if you
amongst the
don't reach the
stars.
moon, you'll be
Yeah,
amongst the stars. Right.
stars. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm there. It's just about fitting in everything I want to do because I don't want to stop this, but I do realize that I have other responsibilities. You know,
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
a family, I have a full-time job.
Right.
Uh, you know,
Right. Right. Well, whatever happens, we always here for you. So you know that. Yeah.
yeah,
We always welcome and take care of
thank
our
you. I'm
community.
just
Yeah.
trying to, get it all together. I don't want to sacrifice this business because it's something that I've wanted to do for a long time. And it's something that I just need to make it work. And it's just always trying to figure out how things are going to work.
Well, one thing I will always say to you is we we would get up and go to somebody else's job and make somebody else's dreams come true. And when it comes to our own jobs and responsibilities or dreams, we always put it on the back burner, because of whatever your responsibilities are. But we to me, I had to push past that. I came to the point it means that if I don't hustle, my family don't eat. You know what I mean?
And
And
right,
jobs
and
can,
that's what it is. It's about pushing past it and getting out of my own way, and
right.
I recognize that.
Yeah.
So, um, what am I going to do about that? Just getting out of my own way. And I recognize that. And it's just about coming up with a system or a schedule or something, you know what I mean? Having specific office hours where I'm going to work. Whereas just trying to fit it in where I can fit it in because, I do still have a full-time job.
Right, right,
I'm
right, right, right.
still, you know, what is it, outsourcing my skills to the district that I work for. So, just just that's really what it is.
I got you. I
And it
definitely
takes
understand.
time.
I've been there before. I mean, I'm pretty sure any business owner on here will tell you, there's always struggle at the beginning. On the other side of that struggle is going to be your relief. I mean, you're always going to struggle. You're always going to feel on the edge being a business owner because anything can happen at any moment. However, there's no cap on your salary. There's no, boss to answer to. There's no, you know, the things that will stop you that normally would take place in a workplace. I mean, especially as you being a minority woman, there's no cap on the ceiling of how far you can go in that position, how much your money can make, those type of things. So you just got to push past that as being an entrepreneur and, pray. I always tell, I pray every day, all the time. So pray on it. Again, do what you do on your 9 to 5 until it helps you transition out of that 9 to 5 into your business full time. Yeah.
And that's what it is. Like I honestly would love to do this full time and really go after it. And, some people just like, well, you do all the work yourself. It's my name. It's my brand that I'm building. And I like to have my hand on it.
hmm And now, is your business in your name or is it a different name? Like, are you using your brand?
It's WM Creations.
Okay, okay, okay. I got you. Because a lot of times, you know, when sometimes I think like sometimes when we create another business name or we create another entity of ourselves, the extension of ourselves, you know, business is basically extension of ourselves. We can get lax on that. But when you're building a brand under your name, then it forces you to be more.
Well, it's named after my children.
Okay.
So,
It forces you to be more. I got you. Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's even more important to me in my own name. I'm building generational wealth. You know, I'm hoping in about 6 months I can teach my daughter the little things that I do to even at 6. You know what I mean? 6 and a half. It's the little things that I do that could be like, oh, mommy, can I help you? Sure. Okay. Why don't you do this for me? You know what I mean? Instead of go get this from my office or go, you know what I mean? So
let it make sense to her instead of just telling her what to do. Let it make sense. Yeah, definitely. It's kind of hard, you know. Thank God I've got a youth program, but you know, teaching my own youth, it was definitely hard to you know, pass down the knowledge or the information that I received because you know, when I received it, they were already in the workplace. They were already, you know, teenagers working jobs and things like that. So at 6, you still have a, you know what I mean, you still have that umbrella over her that you can actually shape her and mold her that's necessary. Hey Danny, glad to see you.
Hey there.
Don't tell nobody how we turned up in Costa Rica.
No, right? Had a great time.
It was a good time in Costa Rica.
Actually home today, so I said, let me hop on and see what's going on.
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot you went back into the workplace now, huh? No more working from home?
Yeah.
How's that feel?
It's not too bad. I'm on like the resource team, so I go different places. So I don't have to deal with the politics and drama of it. So I love it. And it gets me out the house and stuff.
Okay.
So it's not bad. Yeah.
Did you get stir crazy being in the house that long? I'm still in the house, so I don't know what stir crazy
Yeah,
means.
I definitely did. I would have to go out and be like, I gotta go to the grocery store or something. I gotta do something.
Now, being that you work on, did it stop you just spending more money?
No, because Amazon is still real. Probably spend less now because I'm like, let me just go home, you know, get ready for work, go to bed. I don't get on Amazon as much. So I probably really do save more money.
Oh wow, you crazy. The Amazon is real. You sound like my wife in here. I'm like, you order one. And then we get the little thing on there, the smart system. You be letting them know when the packages come.
When it's coming. Yeah.
Well, it looks like it's not going to be that many people in here tonight, so I don't want to hold everybody up. I just want to, I guess, go ahead and start the declaration. And as people join the group tonight, we can go ahead and let them. I know some people may have reached out to me for the link. I got a new phone today. I got from. Are y'all still there?
yes.
Yeah.
I apologize. Yeah, something happening. Verizon no longer changes your phones over. You have to use your own personal Wi-Fi in order for them to change those. So Joy has my phone downstairs working on that now to change all my stuff over. I don't know what. Apparently they said some thieves were sitting outside like a Verizon facility and did some you know, they'd be tapping into people's stuff, so some data on the Verizon Wi-Fi, so they stopped using, you know, transferring people's stuff over when they get new phones. You got to do it off your own Wi-Fi. Weird, but okay. All right, so I'm trying to share my screen here, and apparently, oh, there we go. Oh, this thing is so stupid.
It shared a second ago, and then that's when it kicked you
Right,
off.
it's giving an error right now on my side. I don't know if you see it or not. It's giving an error. All right, try this one more time. Are we good now?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So apparently nobody loves us no more. It's only 3 of us tonight, but we're gonna still do what we do anyways, because those that here are most important, right? All right. So you already know our program, Velocity Banking. I want to, you know, start with our declaration. If you could please indulge me. I know Renee and Rosie both are working tonight, so I don't know where the rest of the crew at, but it's fine. we can do what we do. So please unmute yourself and follow me, please. This is my life.
This is my life.
This is my life.
I declare today my mindset has changed.
I declare my
today
mindset.
has
I declare
changed.
today my mindset has changed.
I am clear about my path.
I am clear about my path.
I walk in the understanding of my finances.
I have walked in the
In the
understanding of my
understanding of
finances.
I control my spending habits.
I control my spending habits.
I am not a consumer.
I am not a consumer.
I am an investor.
I am an investor.
My money works for me.
My money works for me.
I live in abundance.
I live in abundance.
All things are possible because I believe.
All things are possible because I believe.
I am financially sexy.
I
I
am
am financially sexy.
And I won't give up.
and I won't
give up.
So, sorry, I didn't realize I didn't have it on the screen, my screen. Here's another declaration for those that missed it. It's been being recorded. But tonight I want to talk about self-control. I know Danielle said about Amazon earlier, and I've met with a lot of members recently going back over some of the foundational stuff. And I always talk about the foundation because, you know, it wasn't until I learned this program that we teach of paying off a debt at accelerated rate and also changing my mindset about money that I was able to excel and move to different heights in my career and in my life, right? However, you know, we're teaching people how to get high lines of credit. You're talking about $100,000 to $500,000 in personal, anywhere to $1 million in business credit. Once these people are getting these high lines of credit, you know, what is stopping you from going back to consumer mindset? Because everybody wants to bling bling. Everybody wants to have now, right? So, you know, I felt impressed on my heart because I spoke to so many members that end up falling back and end up ballooning debt because they had these new lines of credit, or their credit has built up, not necessarily just new lines of credit. It can be that your credit score is higher now. Now you afford to get approved for some stuff now, right? So I'm trying to turn this off, sorry. You get approved for stuff. So now they utilizing that credit, you know, and again, there's a lot of people out here teaching credit repair and things like that in our communities, but, you know, and they're teaching credit repair, how to build your credit, but they're not teaching them not to be consumers. They're not teaching them how to be invested. They're still consumers. They're getting their credit repaired, going to these credit repair companies or whatever, and they're getting new lines of credit. They're going out ballooning this debt, putting them back in the same situation, right? So what having higher lines of credit to me comes higher responsibility. What we teach in our program, the foundation of Velocity Banking, not only pays off your debt at accelerated rate, it raises your credit score. And when we raise that credit score, we teach you how to utilize that newfound credit score to get lines of credit that you can actually utilize to hopefully to invest in businesses, to invest in real estate, and to invest in yourself as far as education in order to get you to the next level in life, right? And I just feel that it's a danger for those that don't want to follow the foundation, right? We have people that purchased our course. I can watch and see who's doing the courses and that, you know, what steps they are in the course. We have people that have been on the calls with us from day one, and, you know, they still haven't made as many strides as some of the newer people, because some of the newer people don't have the impressive, you know, old ways of how we used to do our meetings and all types of stuff that's happening in people's lives, right? So I just wanted to follow up and touch bases on why Velocity Banking is our foundation, why having high lines of credit can be a danger, and why it's very important that we put, you know, the budget, the mindset, the control, the self-control, the discipline, and the knowledge and education of money in the forefront, in front of our habits, in front of our negative beliefs about money, in front of our, you know, I guess the realms, the way you want to go out and, you know, spend and do stupid things with your money, you know. I always say, if you want to buy the nice things in life, buy an asset first, put that asset in front of that nice thing so that asset can pay for that nice thing and more. Let your money make you money, right? So anyways, forgive me, I got to pull my screen up. I got so many screens in front of me. What in the world? Oh, here we go. Sorry, I'm getting it here. All right. So, anyways, higher lines of credit, greater responsibility. At best, and unwilling to exercise self-control when it comes to money can rob you of financial security. The reason why I put that in, at worst, impulsive attitude or behavior towards buying can have a negative impact on other areas of life, right? Including self-esteem. We started self-abusing. It can interfere with relationships. Yes, exercising restraint can be difficult and boring. I love to take care of my wife. I love to go spend money, but at the same time, I have to know that there's a time and a place for everything. I have to generate a certain amount of money in order for me to do that. The impulse spending of not having the money to pay back the lines of credit can actually hurt you, So their exercising restraint can be difficult and boring for a lot of people that get these high lines of credit, right? But it's also offer rewards and advantages, such as the ability to achieve financial goals, like investing. Once you able to learn how to control or have that self-discipline about having these high lines of credit, then you'll be able, it's rewarding to be able to go purchase what you want. I've heard people, some of our members say, they walk to the store and say, hey, we can buy this boat, and using the debt weapon way, we don't know how many months to pay this off, and we can use that boat to, run people out, and you get your captain license. Those type of things are rewarding to know that and satisfying to know that you can actually use your money or those lines of credit to invest. But to use those lines of credit to buy, I don't even know, say, probably $1,000 worth of Gucci bags. I don't know how much they cost. Buying a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't generate you income. Basically, buying consumer stuff is what I'm talking about. If you're buying an asset, and it can be, a Gucci bag, as long as you have the intention of selling it at a higher price, whatever, Facebook Marketplace, whatever. You buying assets to sell, but to buy assets just to accumulate, Jordans, things that plague our communities. You know what I mean? We get these. Again, people are teaching these people how to repair their credit. They get their credit repaired. Now they're starting going out and getting high lines of credit, going to these stores, blowing up their credit card, don't have the money to pay back, didn't create any type of assets, or going on vacations, or, they don't have the money to pay back. They haven't even tried to generate passive income or any kind of passive income. All they did was got high lines of credit and went straight out blowing it. No new money coming in. So it's really dangerous on that, you know what I mean? So what I feel like, again, high lines of credit, greater responsibility. Also with velocity banking, velocity banking creates within your mind without actually seeing it, it creates a budget for you. Because what happens is previously, the way we teach you is to move all your debts over to one credit card, one HELOC, or one source of debt weapon, Now you consolidate all your debts into one place, majority of your debts into one place, right? Not only that debt is giving you cashback rewards, that debt is also letting you know what date and time or whatever, which day those bills coming out, what day the next type of bills comes out. Some people, most of the bills on the 1st, the other was on the 15th. The debt weapon way, the velocity banking way allows you, without you actually doing it, creating a budget, right? Again, having high lines of credit can actually hurt you. Without a budget, it's easy to forget, how charging a cup of coffee here or buying a new book there can add up over the month and get you in trouble, especially for people that, I'm going to say, they still on the edge. they still don't believe in what we teach. You have some people that still use cash and then use credit. We know those on the call, you can't do both. You have to distinguish between the two. You have to choose between the two. The greater evil is to use cash, because when you use the cash in your bank account, when it comes time to pay those bills, you don't have the money there. So now credit to you, or credit to most people, will look like a debt or a bill, instead of credit looking like an asset, as what we teach, paying yourself back to zero so that you can utilize that same money again in order for you to invest, right? Also with that, if you keep debt on a credit card, right? We all know, we've seen this before previously, before we learned the foundational way that we teach now. We learned that self-control is important when it comes to finances. It's not moral, it's not spiritual, but it's practical. We all know that. Most people of our community stay away from debt because the first thing they're going to say is, I already have debt, why would I add another bill? That's how we thought about credit, right? So then when we get these high lines of credit, and again, we don't have the money to pay back, we're looking at credit cards again, instead of looking at it as an asset, the things that we taught in this program, as debt. And that can actually have high interest rates. The interest can be high on those, which makes purchases more expensive. You may go buy a car. Again, your credit score goes down. Now that car becomes more expensive because you didn't remember how to look financially sexy. You fell back into the consumer mindset. Or, you had a credit card, we got you high lines of credit, you felt like you was in a secure place, and you took $100,000, now you at $40,000 of that. We all know you can't go past 30,000 because they're going to hurt your utilization. You know what I mean? You're not paying a 30% gain, you're up over. There's so many things that can happen that we can take advantage of when having these high lines of credit. And again, these things can hurt you if you do not have the foundation in place, right? So I cannot stress this to you. I've seen it. I keep seeing it. I'm hearing it. My coaches are seeing it. We're talking about this in every call. People are ballooning debts, falling out of, the programs, or, saying that, like even with us creating the new courses, majority of the people that's been in our program for at least 6 months should have enough lines of credit to purchase their course. Why do our people not have enough credit to purchase their course? That let us know that they're ballooning debt on somewhere on the personal side, or they messed up their credit somewhere that they don't have enough money in those lines of credit to buy their course, to create their, financial future, to have that material that they actually need to push them forward. That lets us know that something's going on with their lines of credit that they're not telling us, or we cannot see. And 9 out of 10, they don't balloon their lines of credit, still with the consumer mindset, not an investor mindset, because nobody's talking about the money they've put into business. We go around, do a round circle all the time. Nobody's talking about it. So there's a problem that we need to address here. Again, it can hurt. Credit card balances go unpaid, then your credit score will start to diminish. You get unexpected interest rates on your insurance bills, insurance companies, credit check scores, calculation of premiums may also assume, and people forget when you get, I've been preaching to people to make sure they get a life insurance policy, because GoFundMe is not a life insurance policy for our community, right? But when you go get these life insurance policies, all these auto policies, most states pulling your credit, doing a credit check. So if your score is high, that means your premium is higher, right? And then if you can't pay that bill, then you're going to defraud. And then you might let your car and your house and your maintenance, or all the other responsibilities that you should have go, which puts you at a higher risk, unfortunately for people not in our program, or unfortunately for people that have no financial education, or are not financially lit, they end up filing bankruptcy. So again, we all know that some employers check your credit score, some apartments where you're going to move that check your credit score. if your credit is bad and don't know anything about the pre-approval way that we try to teach you, you can go to a car mortgage company. They run your credit score multiple times trying to find you the best lender. You're getting all these inquiries. All this thing can hurt you if you don't know how to use your line of credit properly. If you let your lines of credit balloon, go unpaid, you know, just making the minimum payments because you've been paying out of your checking account again and not paycheck parking. And it can happen. I'm telling you, I've seen it. I've witnessed it. If velocity banking doesn't become your way of life, it can definitely hurt you. I'm pretty sure some of you guys can attest to this, which we'll do a roundtable after I finish yelling. So that's basically what I had in here about velocity banking, and having lines of credit. There is a big correlation. There's a big responsibility when we get these lines of credit to make sure that not only do we utilize them properly, that we have a self-control, a self-discipline, and a self-respect, knowing that we're trying to build a generational, not only passive, but a generational wealth that we can pass down. And it takes that discipline, it takes that girl to make sure that we're not ballooning our debt. And again, I know we all want the blingy things, like we want to live good. And the same thing I tell my wife, I'm telling you, if you want it, buy an asset first. Let that asset pay for that and many more to come, right? So I'm just going to shut up here, and I just want to do a round table. Have anybody struggled with having these new lines of credit or having this new credit score? I know Danny always had good credit score, but she didn't have lines of credit. So have you read into anything with having those new lines of credit versus previously?
For me, I've always been a saver. So now that I have those lines of credit, for me, it's actually utilizing and using those lines of credit. I've gotten so used to, prior to having those high lines of credit, to only spending a certain amount. And so I still only spend that certain amount, even though I have these high lines of credit. So for me, my main issue is
Utilizing.
utilizing it. So I'll, honestly, I fall into difficulty with consistency and discipline. So for me, my discipline isn't necessarily overspending, but making the time to invest, and do those things and stuff like that. So I'm not a big spender at all. I actually don't spend a lot because I've been saving for so long, but it's just having those lines of credits, and then even having certain credit cards. I'm like, okay, I need to make sure I spend something on that card so that that account doesn't close, so that's kind of my issue.
I mean, that makes sense. Anybody want to chime in on what she's doing or going through?
For me, getting the new lines of credit, and we discussed this before, just trying to supply for the business that I have. It's not even a lot of personal stuff. It's just like, okay, I need this and I'm gonna need this, or things that I realize, or things that I want to learn how to do, right? And getting the supplies to do that. So I noticed that, and now that the summer is coming to an end and I'm not making extra money. No, but seriously, just being wise about it, because eventually I do want to venture out and eventually open another business and do Turo, and I know that's hopefully next summer, God willing, next summer, when I have the lines of credit, I can go in, I can just be like, nothing down, let me get a car, I know what I'm doing, what have you. And it starts now, and I know that you and I had a conversation, what makes now different. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I just have to keep reminding myself that I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, because I'm at that point.
I got you. Yes, I like it. Rosie, you about to chime in?
Yes, hi.
Hi.
Sorry I was late.
No, that's fine.
I take a mom to dinner and they served us a little late. So, but you know, so for me, I was one of those people who never would use credit cards, and we had them, but I always saw them like the devil, so I didn't use them. And so after getting into this program and realizing the good that you could do with them, it truly blessed my life. Like being able to understand how to leverage your credit and pay for the things that you're normally going to pay for anyway with your card, and then reap those rewards. So, I mean, just seeing the rewards, I smile. It's like a true blessing from God. Like you're getting money getting money from your everyday spending. So it's been really great. Now, one of the, and this might sound a little funny, but one of the issues that I had at first, and sometimes it still creeps back up, is after I've made, because I usually will pay my bills now, like once a month, but I make sure that it's on the date that all of my bills are before all the closing statement closing dates. And so because I'm sort of paying so much, like when you got thousands of dollars on a card, it's like woof. And then I look at that bill, I go in to go pay the bill, and it's pretty high because after you pay mortgage and everything else, right? And and so well, I shouldn't say mortgage. I pay my rent from my daycare too. But when I do that and I look at that big bill, I almost don't want to give that card that money. So I'm like, Dad, I got to give them all of that. And yeah, I know I have to do it because of course I gotta live and I gotta make those payments. But sometimes I look at it and it's like an old habit from when I was really young and I had my first credit cards and I kind of blew them up and did the things that you talked about today, just using the card to be a consumer for just frivolous things. And back then I don't even know if there were rewards, I doubt it. But so now I look at it and I see it as a real blessing because you can use it to leverage. But every once in a while though, I look at that the amount that I have to pay those folks, and I'm like, dang, I gotta give these people all my money, so I still look at it like that's still cash because it's coming out of your checkings account. And so sometimes I kind of want to jump back into that, like, do you really want to give them all that, or just give them some, like, and not pay it off? But I know I'm committed to what I've started, and so I of course go ahead and make that payment. Hey, Barb, you said something. I could not hear you. I don't know what happened, but
He's muted.
Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, I'm a bit having the whole conversation. So I was trying to respect you because Joy's talking at the same time. I was saying that one thing I want everybody to understand is that, as Rosie was talking about, when you look at your new credit card statements now, it can still be an old mindset that that's a bill, or you paying your HELOC, that's a bill because you see it $2,000, $3,000 you spent throughout the month and you have to pay back. However, you have to remember now that line of credit is actually your new checking account. The faster you pay that back to zero, the faster you can use it again. That's your goal, to always keep that thing at zero. That way you can utilize that money again. So so it's not a bill. Your debt weapon, your line of credit that you're utilizing to pay your household bills is your checking account. It is your weapon. So it's your goal and your responsibility to pay it back to zero as fast as possible, right? For those that just joined the call, tonight we were speaking about having those new lines of credit and having these high lines of credit, because I'm pretty sure most people, they came in with either no credit or low credit cards, not to say credit, but low credit cards to having these high lines of credit. With having these new high lines of credit, what type of responsibility come with those, right? And we're talking about issues that we've seen or going through with having those new lines of credit, as far as, being consumer, having that urge to spend. What type of self-control and discipline are you putting in place to make sure you don't spend on a consumer level? So if you want to chime in, it's like some of the things that you've gone through or seen about having these new high lines of credit, we definitely appreciate some of the feedback. Keisha gave, Danielle gave, and as you heard, Rosie just gave her. Nobody? Don't have me call you out, Raheem. What about you, Brian? Anything that you can think about when you're using these credit or having these new lines of credit now?
I was just sitting here thinking, the best thing you can do is, especially learn from the program, is, whatever line of credit you have, again, especially with what we learn in the program, is knowing, the max you can spend, which, as we all know, it isn't whatever the credit limit is. So, like I was telling you, we talked yesterday, I got a new credit limit increase, and the first thing I did once I got the increase was I wanted to find out what 30% of that new limit is. So that's my buffer, that's my cap. And what I try to do, once I figure out what 30% of it is, I'll go a little lower. I'll as a safety precaution, I'll say, okay, so I know what 30% is, but I'm gonna try to keep it at 25%. I'm gonna try not to go above 25%, and because that way I know if I get to 25%, my credit's not gonna, take that major hit. And then the other factor is keeping in mind, once you get a lot of credit cards, or more credit cards, you gotta track whatever your due date and your end bill cycle is. A lot of people that pay credit cards, that myself included, before getting into this course, they just know about your due date. I gotta pay this by the due date. But in actuality, the bill cycle matters too. You can make a payment. You actually can double dip. What I've done is, I'll pay by the due date. And then I know, okay, so the bill cycle ends though 3 to 5 days later. So I'm gonna make another payment by then. That way it helps me either get back closer to zero or get to zero by the time the bill cycle ends and reports to the credit bureaus. That's just some stuff that I do that may be helpful to the group or that others may not have thought about.
Yeah, so basically saying there's a big difference, as we talked about previously, between a due date and a statement date. The statement date is more important than the due date. Unfortunately, most of us make the payment on the due date. However, the statement date already reported the balance to the credit bureaus, I'm sorry. So you want to make sure your payments are in before the statement date ends, because when the due date comes, the statement date already reported the balance to the credit bureaus. I definitely would say that what you said, Brian, is that, having multiple cards and having multiple cards that have high lines, there's a lot of times people try to do manufactured spending to make sure they get all the rewards or all the perks that card has that comes with the introductory, things, the introductory rates and introductory perks, all that stuff. However, you have to make sure that you try to keep all your debts on one line of credit. I don't care if it's a HELOC, a credit card, whatever, don't try to have debt, because I think Danielle said even trying to just manufacture spending on that card so the card don't get shut down. you don't have to use every card. You know, if you want to use gum or pay for gas on one of the cards just to show some type of spending on it, that's fine. But you shouldn't be carrying a large lines of debt on multiple cards, because that's where you get yourself in trouble. Because now you're gonna have to try to pay here, pay there. You want to try to keep all your debts in one card. Hopefully you have a card high enough that you can use those things on. You know, I know some people that have used, they may have personal and they're using another card for investing. That's fine as long as that investment is paying for that card and not mixing, you know what I mean, the other one. Or your strategy is that you use the card for investing, that money that's coming in from that investment adds to the cash flow. You can use that to pay off the card you borrowed off of and make the minimum payment on your main one, and then pay that instead of start velocity banking on that one. That makes sense? You know what I said? You know what I mean? So you want to make sure that you don't just have debt spread it out everywhere, because that's where it gets back into a consumer mindset. I'm just going to make the minimum payments, or you spending the money that's in your checking account. Again, we coming from a mindset where cash is king. It happens easily when you go pull that credit card, that debit card out instead of that credit card, especially if you're still carrying them. I recommend you don't carry them. You're using the debit card, you're taking cash out of that checking account. When it's time to pay those bills, the money's not there. Now this thing looking like a debt. Now you're looking at your credit cards as a debt instead of an asset.
Sabor,
Mhm.
I hadn't used my debit card in so long that I went to the bank to make a deposit, and I needed to buy like a money order, I think it was. And the lady asked for the, you know how you have to put the PIN number in? I hadn't used it in so long I couldn't remember the PIN. I had to ask her, is there some other way we could do it? Because I couldn't remember what it was. You know, now that, you know, we use lines of credit all the time, you know, credit cards, I don't even think about the debit card.
Yeah, man, they got me. They like, can you supply your security code? I was like,
Yeah, like I couldn't think of it, you know. So they I had to do it a different way so that they know it's me, but you know, they just want to be, you know, verified or whatever. But yeah, I hadn't used it in so long I couldn't remember the PIN number.
So not just, I guess I don't want to just say, you know, having high lines of credit comes greater responsibility. I will also have to say, you know, having, you know, credit, like a lot of good credit or excellent credit. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with that too. Unfortunately, you know, with good credit, there's a lot of things we want to buy now, especially if we were locked out previously. You know, some people that was in the came in the program, they may wanted to buy a home, or they may wanted to buy a car, but they couldn't buy the car because it come a high interest rate, or they would turn down for a new home or an investment property because their credit score was low. Now you got these, you know, the newfound credit. It can be very challenging too in the minds of a lot of people, because, you know, without that self-control or that self-discipline, because, you know, I'm like that too. You count me out. I'm in the game now. You can't stop me. You know, so it can be challenging if you still have that consumer mindset. Anybody have gone through that or thought of it like that, or sat back and just started thinking about these lines of credit or newfound credit scores that you have?
I can speak on that. Not not for the past few years, but I remember, you know, coming from the early teenage years when, you know, you got your first credit card and didn't really know how to use it. Um, and I remember, you know, I maxed it out within like a 3 or 4 month span. And then you know, and that was just a little amount. It's like $5,000 back in the day. Then I had to figure out how to pay it, and I ain't really have a, you know, steady income job. And I was struggling to pay $5,000 back over like almost a year. But then later on, you know, start working and so forth, and started, you know, building up credit with having other credit accounts like furniture loans and all that stuff, and paying that, and And then when you get your first, real, credit limit, I would say anything 10,000 or more. I like what you said, so boy, I was like, oh shit, I'm in the game now. Yeah, I'm start spending again. Like, yeah, but I got a high limit now, so it's gonna take a while to max this out. slowly, slowly but surely. Before I knew it, I
Maxed
don't.
out.
I'm at well, I didn't max it out, but I was over half of that limit. I was at like 8K and like I was like 8K in like in like 2 months, and I was like, "Dang."
Ain't have it fast, more money, man, more responsibility. Trust me.
Yeah,
So, also, y'all, Brian been in the program every about 2 weeks, but he's been around for a long time. I would say congratulations to you, bro. He's close to $100,000 in new lines of credit, so ain't nothing but growth and more. We look for more success from you, bro, in the program.
appreciate it.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
it.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, speaking on that, last month people were talking about Navy, asked about Navy Federal, because I was telling Saboy yesterday, and I didn't get to post it in the Facebook. Yeah, and I mentioned it earlier today too. Like I recently got a 8K credit limit increase, and I remember the question was last month, for Navy Federal specifically, do they do a hard inquiry when you ask for a credit limit increase? Um, as far as the personal side goes, I can honestly say no, because I put in a request on Monday and online through the mobile app, and they they approved my increase yesterday to 8K, and that involved no hard inquiry on my credit. As a matter of fact, if they would have tried, they would have probably had to send me a message that they couldn't go through with it because, again, learning what learning from the program, all my, especially my three major credit bureaus, they're frozen. So they wouldn't have been able to pull it anyway. But just to let anybody know who's interested or thinking about doing Navy Federal credit limit increase, especially on the personal side, it should not involve a hard inquiry.
Yeah. Also, what we learned too through communication with Navy Fed is that we all know the black card that I always recommend, the flagship card, goes to 80K. Navy Fed now, because of so many frauds and so many people scamming, Navy Fed become the big thing. All of their cards are maxing out at 80. So that means that even if you have two cards, 3 cards, 4 cards, you're only going to get 80K total out of all those cards. So 2 cards, 40, or whatever, end up amounts to 80K. Is another thing that we learned about Navy Fed recently. They're stopping people maxing out at 80K.
Yes, true.
Anybody else has anything they can think of that they would like to share their experiences? Because again, we all each one teach one about having these new lines of credit, how it can be challenging, tempting, scary. I mean, anything you think of. I mean, again, you're talking about people that had. I mean, we had some people that came in our program with 250, 500 secured credit cards. Now they up to 100,000 or more in unsecured lines of credit. That can be tempting. That can be scary. That can be a aha moment, but at the same time, a very, very troubling moment.
I will say for me, the way that it's kind of like a thin line for me. So what I do, I mainly use my Navy Federal flagship card because I love the cashback rewards from it. So all my other cards, I typically keep them locked in my safe. And I use my budget, a list of all the cards that I have. So if there is someone that has issues with constantly spending, that might be a good way to hold off on Because, you know, when you have multiple cards and you're like, oh, I know my limit is high on this one, let me use this one. I don't even have access. Sometimes I'm like, I got to go home to get another card, you know, or like how Rosie was saying, I couldn't even remember my my PIN number. So if that is an issue, that may be, you know, a way for you to figure out how to balance it.
That's smart. I like that one. So you're saying not to have multiple cards on your person at one time because it's tempting to spend off that one card, you know, the limit is higher, or you haven't put any spending on that. I can see that. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I like that. I love that. Anybody else?
Actually, I wanted to say I like that too, Danielle, because I find myself, I think I started carrying more cards, or I carry at least 3 cards with me, but reason being, everybody doesn't take like the American Express one. And then what I found sometimes, well, I had my card set so that, you know, you get all the notifications, and if it goes over a certain limit, then, you know, they kind of like shut down your card. I've had so many times I forgot that I did that, and they wouldn't let me make purchases, you know, that I was trying to make at the time. And then you got to call because they think it's fraud, or, you know, all kinds of stuff. So instead of like standing in a line and waiting, Navy Federal is very good with that fraudulent thing.
Yes.
When I was traveling, they shut my card down so fast. I was like, what the heck? It was like $55 in Europe, and they shut my card down. But that was my fault because I forgot to notify them, you know, that I'd be, you know, out of state, and well, just not out of state, but out of country. And so they shut my card down for like $55. And then, you know, trying to contact them and waiting and all that stuff. You know, I'm not going to stand in the store, but I started bringing more cards for that reason. I normally carry at least 2 cards around. And so I started doing that because every time, and then after I notified Navy Fed that I was out of the country, we all went on one of the, you know, boat cruises for dinner and all that. So 6 people, it went over, you know, whatever the amount was, and they shut my card down again.
I don't think there's nothing more embarrassing than somebody saying their card declined.
Exactly.
Check out like I got a high line of credit. I know something wrong.
Exactly. I told that girl, I was like, the first time with the $55, I was like, what? I was like, I know I got $55 on this card. I got a whole lot more than that, right? And of course, you know, they looking at you like, sure. So now I had to pull out another card, right? And then, you know, they kind of looking at you like, you know, let's see if this card works.
You got to blow on it.
It was bad. I'm like, Navy Federal, man. I mean, they're doing their job, but goodness, you're embarrassing.
Yeah, anytime you travel, especially with Navy Fed, I would definitely tell you, call, let them know that you're traveling. They'll tell you how to unlock your card to make sure it don't get shut down. Also, with Navy Fed, I think there's a limit on your credit cards. I want to say it's $4,500 a day. Anything after that, you need to call them and let them know that you're going to be spending more. I purchased a car on one of my cards, and what I did was I just called them because they wouldn't take the whole credit card payment for the car. They said, you know, I don't know what they were talking about. They said, maybe you pay for a car and then file banks review up. Next day you got a full car. I don't know. There was something crazy. I'm like, you still got paid. But anyways, they wouldn't take the whole purchase for the car. So they took $6,500. So I had to call Navy Fed, let them know, hey, I'm about to make a big purchase. You know, can you extend my limit? They'll say, hey, we'll extend your limit for 72 hours on this purchase. And that way you can still make those bigger purchases if you need to.
Yeah, it was pretty embarrassing.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the first time it's happened. It's even happened while I was here in the US, but just another state, you know. It happened, as a matter of fact, it happened when we went to the family reunion in Alabama. I'm trying to order the bounce house for the kids. And I gave my cousin my card, you know, the number and stuff so he can order it. And they kept declining it.
Mm.
I was like, what is going on with these people? But I didn't call them for Alabama. I didn't think I needed to call them. And they declined the card. I had to call them, did the same thing. And then they released the whole, they sent a text and it'll say like, what was the text? Like, oh, you can have the merchant
Rerun it.
process it again. Yeah. So I was like, this card is embarrassing, man.
Well, one thing I would say, even though they're doing a job, and this goes back to, I guess, having high lines of credit and having good credit now, it comes more responsibility. You have to keep an eye on your credit, man, because man, so many credit cards me and my wife done got hacked, or especially discovered. Like they make small purchases, $1.50, then they go unnoticed to you. And then next thing you know, you get a $500, a $500, a $5,000, $1,000 purchase on this card overseas, and it's the same from the same company. They didn't plan you to see if you're going to catch it for the first couple of days, and you got to respect the credit card companies, and at the same time, you have to be more responsible with your credit because everything is a scam and everybody's trying to get you now. So
it's true. Yeah. It's true. I mean, I get all the notifications. It's just that, while you're in the store somewhere, it's like decline. Yeah. What is going on here? Like Navy, come on. So, and then I have all the stuff set up too for, and I don't know if everybody does it, but, so it goes to your phone or your email so that when charges are made over a certain amount, they send me a notification. Like if somebody charges $500, they're going to send me a notification. And, but I just went through that whole alert thingy and set up all those notifications too. Yeah. So I just hate getting that decline one. That's
that's
the one that's embarrassing. Yeah, and then I end up having to use a different card that I really don't want to use because then it doesn't have all the rewards like the Navy one does.
Right. I definitely agree with
you. Yeah.
I set up all the alerts, Rosie, and then I have another alert called Raheem. I purchased gas, right? We had been using a particular car, a city card for like gas purchases and food, but we switched over. But I was at the gas station. I'm used to at the gas station using that particular card to buy the gas. And I swiped the $65 worth of gas. I'm going in there. I go get my receipt so I can get my little gas rebate for uploading my receipt. I'm sitting in the car and the phone rings. I'm like, he said, "Did you just charge $65 on the card?" And I'm like, "Huh? Yeah, it just went through." No, we just paid that off. I was like, "Oh, but that's the card for gas. Nope, we got to switch over. We should have discussed that part." I was like,
"Oh yeah, Raheem is Navy Federal. You better watch out."
But I like what Danielle said too. The only thing is with, yes, you lock them away, but this day and age, you can upload them to your wallet on your iPhone. I don't know if they do that on Android. I'm pretty sure they do. So you have like so many cards uploaded on. Rosie might carry, 3, but I might carry 3, but I might have 5 uploaded in my wallet on my iPhone. And I go to tap to purchase and I'm like, pick a card, any card.
Oh no, that's too much work.
And you're like, no, that's not the card that we use for this. You're like, you use this for groceries and that for groceries, but it's easy. Like Sabor said, you really kind of have to be really responsible about what you're using because it's easy to say, I'll just put it on this because if you have only a certain amount of cards, you're like, oh, got to pay this month, got to pay this month. Oh, I forgot I charged this to this particular card. And there's a statement or there's a bill on a card maybe you hardly ever use. So I like Danielle, we do lock them away, but if you upload them to your wallet, it's easy to start making purchases on cards that you would normally not even use because they're at your disposal on your phone.
I'm not going to tell y'all no lie. Danielle, I'm a victim of it. I have probably 20 cards in my wallet.
Jesus.
I carry like 20 cards in my wallet all the time. My wife had to get me one of those multiple ones and stuff, but I keep the card that I normally use, which is my Chase Freedom. I keep that in the front. All of them just basically in here for show. Basically, when I go out, I'm like, yeah, I got
For sure.
I'm always nervous too
Black
that
cards.
if I
I got
lose
black
my
cards.
wallet, then I have to go through the process of finding all these numbers to tell them or just going through all the apps to say, hey, card lost, stolen, all of that. So I'm just paranoid.
Yeah, I got you. That is that. Yeah, I need to stop doing that too, because I really don't use them. It's really just there. You know what I mean? I don't use them.
He's the baller of credit.
Yeah. Because most people, like you said, I hear people say they got 1 or 2. I'm like, I got 25.
20 cards. That'll drive me nuts.
Like Raquel recommended though, using like using Google Wallet or on Apple or Apple Wallet
Yeah.
could be helpful because it'll prevent you. It can help you in a lot of ways, especially you don't got to actually physically have all those cards on you. The only thing that sucks is when you go to some of these vendors where they're still not set up to do like Apple Pay or Google Wallet, so you need a credit card. But yeah, especially having all those credit cards, it might help you.
I don't know why Danielle said I was like, I need to get this thing like my wallet too.
Yeah.
So what about your personal goals, right? Because I'm pretty sure everybody has over, on this call 50K in lines of credit now. What are your personal goals as far as your personal and business side? What credit amount on your personal, what credit amount on your business side are you satisfied with, or where you're trying to get to?
Well, I'm trying to get to on my personal side to like 150.
Okay.
And then on the business, I'm looking to get at least like 200. I'm at about 125 now. So I'm looking to increase that.
Okay. Anybody else? Brian was like, I'm trying to get to 1 million.
Well,
that's to the end of this year. That's to the end of this year.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Anybody ever thought about it though? Like, what is my set number for my personal? What is my set number for my business? Like, I can tell you, like me and Joe, we have like 340,000 personal lines, and then of course we have like almost 1 million in business lines of credit. So I still continuously ask for my lines of credit every 3 months and update my annual income just because I want as much credit they can give me. But most time, like Danielle said, she keeps her stuff stored away, or I ask for a credit line. Man, you're not even using the credit that we gave you in the first place. Why you keep asking for this lines of credit? So.
Are they more apt to give it to you, Sabor, if you're not using it though?
Sometimes I get a small amount. Like last month, I want to say on one of my city card, they gave me like 1,500. Care Credit gave me like 2,000. Trying to think. So I'm normally max when I ask for my credit line increases. I'm only jumping in between 3,500 to 5,000 on those cards. Being that many cards, most of them are turning me down, but I still ask every 3 months anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And again, a lot of it comes from them saying, hey, you're not using, that's their excuse. Your credit is good, your inquiries are low, but you're not using the money that we gave you in the first place. Like, why are we asking for more? And to the banks, and you gotta respect that. When somebody have high lines of credit and ask for more, to them, that's a trigger. They're gonna spin up that credit card and run off, not make those payments, whatever, or file bankrupt.
Well, would it be wise to like if you know that particular card is coming up for that 3 months to at least use it, pay it off, and then ask?
Yeah, you can. But again,
if you want, if you want to get like
a lot of that comes from banking relationships, right? Like say your Navy Fed, all your expenses, all your stuff coming out in that Navy Fed. Every month that you make those multiple payments, or you make that payment, you're building a higher internal score, a better relationship with them. If I just take a Chase card, or whatever, a random card out of my wallet that I don't even use and go make a purchase, just one purchase, and I'm building no banking relationship and I pay it off and I ask for a credit line, that's not utilization to them.
Yeah, it's true.
Sounds like what you're saying is it's best if you're doing that on a monthly basis, constantly spending on that card or that line, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that's kind of what happened with my Discover card. I wasn't using it, and then I tried to get an increase, and they declined me. And then I did the where you call and ask, why'd you decline me that?
The reconsideration.
Yeah, and they were like, you're not using it. So now I use it just for like, I think like my phone bill or something to at least show that I'm using it. So I'll probably try to do another increase and say, okay, I'm using it now. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'd be interested in knowing, Danielle, what happens now that even if it's just your phone bill, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Just to see what they end up doing.
So, lastly, I want to talk about before we go, just so now you have these lines of credit. We already know the trouble that comes with it and the dangers that can come with it. But what are some of the rewards or some of the good feelings or some of the things that you've seen? I know people getting cashback rewards now. I know people are able to make bigger purchases. But have anybody thought about or is using those lines of credit to create passive income? Like maybe purchases, smaller purchases, reselling them on Facebook. Keisha, I know she's buying materials and creating t-shirts and other type of creations from her business. Anybody using those lines of credit to actually create an extra $500,000 a month or whatever they're doing?
Well, I did it with the last purchase for the house, which nice return on that.
Oh, I'm sorry. You did what with the lines of credit? I'm sorry.
I used the credit card to pay pay for the house.
Okay, the rehab, you used
the rehab too, and I was able to put money on for the actual purchase of the house.
Okay.
I was able to do that with the card.
Okay, so you liquidated the credit card.
Yeah, which shocked me that the girl let me do it. So.
Oh yeah. You can use swipe a credit card in the title company. People don't realize. Yeah, you can actually swipe in the title company to close on the property. I normally do a balance transfer when I get ready to close, just to make sure the money is there when they do the wire. But you can actually swipe a credit card in the title company as long as you got the credit there.
Yeah.
So that's nice. Anybody else? Keisha, I know you're using your personal credit to fund your business right now, waiting to build your business credit, waiting for your business to get aged. What are some things that you're doing to help generate more income off your credit?
I am just, what am I doing to say that one more time? Sorry, I'm
like how are you using your credit or personal lines of credit to build your business? So I know you're funding are you getting paid from the customer, then buying the material, or you using your
it depends. So for example, I just had 2 recent orders. I have a friend who owns a skincare line and she wanted me to make promotional items for them. So I got all the items. You asked me to make notebooks, aprons, all of that jazz, and I bought it. So I incorporate that price into the price that I give her.
Okay. So you buy
and
the
I have a
material with your
formula that I
credit,
follow where I get at least 2.5 what I paid, which compensates for the time that I put into it.
Okay. That makes sense. Nice.
So I'm just trying to get to a point where I can make more money than I spend. Hence the reason, and we talked about this, why I try to buy certain things that I realize that are popular items. That way, just figuring out how to maximize my resources and make sure that I don't have any dead inventory.
Got you. Makes sense. Well,
so that's how I'm using my credit. I keep it all in one place.
I got you. I just want to mention to those that are thinking about business or have businesses, you got to remember branding, marketing, web pages like us, courses, all those things that cost money to create, those are all also ways, even though it looked like an expense right now, those are also ways that you're actually utilizing your credit in order for your business to grow. So again, branding, marketing, don't look at it always as expense. Those are actually what do you call it? Investment in yourself and your business in order for your business to grow. So that's one way you can actually utilize your credit, that most people don't look at. They look at it as expense instead of an asset or investment tool. But that's all I have for tonight. Anybody else has anything good they want? We didn't really do a roundtable. Anybody have anything they want to share with the group? I know Brian talked about the $8,000 increase he received this week.
Woohoo, Brian.
Yeah, congratulations to Raheem and Raquel. Their young daughter in our youth program went off to Temple. They took her down to Temple. So that's a big. Y'all did it, parents. Y'all did it.
Yay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yep, that's my niece. That's my niece. That's my niece.
And their daughter Mecca is in our youth program. I'm gonna tell you how proud I am of not just the daughter, but I'm also proud of the parents. They came in the program with strides. Raheem came in as a cash king. He, opened up to what I was trying to teach. They added their daughter to their lines of credit. This girl turned 18, already has excellent credit because of the things that her parents put in place for her. She came in with a 759 all the way across the board. Excellent credit.
Hey.
Yeah, so I'm very proud of y'all. That's a lot. I don't realize y'all just set your daughter up for a future that we didn't have.
Go Mecca. Add me to your credit
Go
line.
back.
Add me to your credit line.
Oh, Renee jumped in. Hey, Renee, how are you this evening? We about to get off the line, man. We just
I figured as much. I just got out of work, so I said, let me hop on real quick to see if I can catch any of it.
Oh, yeah, where we're just talking tonight about having higher lines of credit and the responsibilities that come along with it. If you want to add to that, we would appreciate what your thoughts are or anything you struggle with about having these new lines of credit. Rosie talked about making those payments and feeling like, even though you're paying yourself back, it still felt like a bill. Several people shared like different topics of having high lines of credit, how they feel like it can be pressure at sometimes.
Yeah, it can definitely be pressuring, especially if you're not using them the right way, or even if you have to use them in an emergency type of situation, and then trying to get them paid back down. That's always challenging. I just feel like you just really have to be disciplined and really just keep focused on what the goal is and why you're doing all of this, and try not to lose focus of that and what the whole purpose of doing what we're doing.
Right. Yeah. But so as a reminder, before we close out this week, man, just think about your credit. And, I always think of it, and I'm pretty sure most of you guys think of it, I already have bills, why add a new bill, right? Also, you want to think of it as I'm creating a future for myself. This money here is to create assets. This money is here to create some type of passive income before I actually spend on my personal level. And also, as Renee just said, if you have to spend an emergency, trust me, everything is not an emergency. Everybody wants something now. It is not an emergency. If you feel like you have to spend it now, take 24 hours, take 48 hours, sit back and see if that thing is still an emergency. Somebody call you and your family needs something, somebody about to lose something. As I spoke, and I'm not going to, as I told one of our members, everybody in your family, not your responsibility. Your auntie, your cousin, your brother, they all made their own response. They all made their own way. Even my kids to this day, I always tell it, and Danielle will tell you, I tell my kids all the time, when you were 18, you were my responsibility. Now I am your advisor. I'm your financial advisor. Before I was your provider. Now I'm your advisor. It is your responsibility to do better, so. But that's all I have, man. And I love you guys as always. Thank y'all for joining us this week. And I will see you next week. If anybody don't have anything, we're just going to end for the night.
Thank you very much. That was really good.
All
I
right.
will say to everybody, if you pause in the race, it's easier to continue the race than to start all over. So y'all have a blessed weekend.
Nice. I
That
love
was
it.
good. I like that.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Good.
Good
Good one.
night.
Night.